Hey everybody, it is Lady T and welcome to week 4, Lady T's HBCU Wrap-up, where I am talking to different representatives from different HBCUs. You already know the school that I am repping, Morgan State University, the Mecca in, what's the Mecca? It's not the Mecca, wait. You already know what HBCU I'm repping, Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. But I do want to talk to some other representatives from one of the other 105 HBCUs. So today I have, who do I have? Where are you from? Who are you?
Hey, this is Kristen Herring repping Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. So Kristen, what made your decision to go to Spelman College?
Yeah, so I grew up watching A Different World. So I
Hello?
knew after watching Dwayne and Whitley that I wanted to go to an HBCU. Being from a small town in North Carolina, I wanted that diversity. And so initially I was
Yes.
like, oh, I want to go to Howard. But my uncle ended up moving to the Maryland area. And my mom was like, oh, we could come visit you all the time. I was like, oh, nope, that's not what we're going to do.
That's not what
So
we're doing.
I started looking farther out and it was like Spelman College. That's great. All women and an HBCU. So I was sold.
Okay, so the all women aspect. So I did interview somebody from Morehouse, so the male aspect. How was that going to an all women's college?
It was absolutely amazing. A lot of people think all women, like that's all you saw, but that wasn't the case. We could cross register at other institutions. So I took classes at both Morehouse and Clark
Okay.
as well. Guys were on campus really all the time. The only difference was really more about the dorm situation, right? There were no
Okay.
co-ed dorms.
That's not bad.
But really, exactly, right? Like we had visitation hours. So there were men on campus.
Okay.
They just couldn't spend the night, right? But then, as well, as women, a lot of studies have shown that young girls will oftentimes dim their light in classes, in co-ed classes. And so, really, what this does is remove that social anxiety in class, right?
Yeah.
You're free to speak your mind as well. 8 o'clock lab classes. No need to get cute,
You're focused.
because it's mainly just women on in your classes. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was an amazing experience and really helped develop me into the confident woman that I am today.
Yes, that is a word that I feel like is pinned in almost every one of my talks with HBCU graduates is the confidence that you get from an HBCU. So, kind of going back to the beginning, what was your college tour situation like? Was Spelman College on your radar? Was an HBCU on your radar? What was that experience like?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I knew I wanted to go to an HBCU. My parents, were a little leery about me, leaving North Carolina. So quite honestly, the only application that I filled out in its entirety was to Spelman. My father then.
Okay. What were your other choices though?
What was that?
What were your other choices?
So UNC Chapel Hill, my father, he had me write the essay, but everything else he filled out because he was just like, you're going to go to an in-state schools because we're not paying, private tuition. Howard I applied to, but really for me, attending a day in your life, which is an opportunity for admitted students to go on campus, sit in, listen to the classes.
That's awesome.
Interact with students. After I did that, I knew there was no other place I wanted to go. Like that was it for me. Spelman was it. So that was really what solidified it for me.
Yes, a day in the life. I feel like so many more high schoolers, even middle schoolers, should do stuff like that just so they get that feel. Because my thing is, especially at an HBCU, we all know that week that incoming students come, they're gonna give the best food. Like campus is lit, right? But when you do a day in the life, you really get to see the real aspects of any school, right?
Absolutely.
So with that, let's talk a little bit about the culture at a HBCU. What is part of the culture that you kept with you?
Wow. I mean, there's so much, right? So HBCUs are entrenched in tradition, and each school has their own tradition. So one of them at Spelman is the Spelman Morehouse Glee Club concert. So it's the annual Christmas Carol concert
Okay.
that students on campus can attend, but even after, it's something that the Atlanta community attends. And since everything's been virtual, I've had the opportunity to really share in that experience. And so, yeah, every Christmas, I watch online the Spelman Glee Club Christmas Carol concert. Then, of course, homecomings, right? I've attended almost
There's nothing like it. And maybe I have to try and go into a predominantly white institution's homecoming, because I know theirs looks lit, but in a different way. Like, I feel like a historically black college and university, our homecoming is like a family reunion type something. Whereas I do think the PWIs have, they're excited and lit in their own way, but more for the sports. I feel like us is more for like coming back together.
It is. It's the community. It's the family, right? Even if you did not attend that specific institution, you're welcomed, right? Because
Yes.
it is the family reunion. It's the cookout. Like, hey, where you been? What you been doing? How's
Right.
mama? How's life? That's really what it's about.
Yes, exactly. So, what would be your advice now to freshman Kristen?
Oh wow. I think I would say don't stress too much about like what's in front of you. Really soak in where you are right now, right? Like
Okay.
I was so focused, because again, Spelman was expensive, right? So there were
Hmm.
lots of loans involved. My parents are making sacrifices for me to go, so I was just so focused on okay, I need to, study. I need to do all of this work. So if I could just go back and say, focus on this moment, take it all in,
Mhm.
make those connections, solidify those friendships. That's really what I would say. Just take it all in and don't stress. It's all going to work out the way it's supposed to.
Absolutely. So, you talked a little bit earlier about traditions. What is a tradition or something that you've gotten from your HBCU that you kept with you as a graduate?
Oh, so within the Spelman's whole thing, is about uh, creating women who will go out to serve the community and the world. And one of the things that we learned in the health careers program was about proper presentation.
Mhm.
How to look for an interview, that kind of thing. And that's really something that stuck with me, right? We all understand that appearance is not what should make or break you, but
But
people
it
make
can.
snap judgments
Yeah.
based off of how you show up. So show up your best self, and that half the battle is won there.
Yes. Don't disqualify yourself before they disqualify you, right? So I
Exactly.
feel that. I feel that. I feel that. So there are about 106 HBCUs, right? And you went to one of those 106. If not Spelman College, would you have gone anywhere else?
Um, uh, I mean, Howard, like I said, that was on my list. It was just a little too close for my mama to be popping up,
Mm-hmm.
making visits. But I mean, really, I've had the opportunity to attend various homecomings. I have friends who have attended lots of different
Yes.
HBCUs, and really, it's an individual choice which one you attend, and each one has been right for that person. So for me, I don't think I would have gone anywhere else besides Spelman, just because that experience was so unique and really perfect for me.
Absolutely. So, when we graduate from historically black colleges and universities, I feel like our pride, like we have a lot of pride in that, right? So almost every HBCU is the illustrious, is the forever evolving, change it, like a lot of keywords and things of that nature. As a graduate, how do you inspire or even push somebody to either go to an HBCU or specifically to Spelman College?
Listen, there is no better advertisement for your college or institution than you, right? So you just showing up, being the exceptional individual that you are, people will take
Yeah.
notice, be like, oh, so where did you go to school, right? And this is
Mm-hmm.
everyone at work, at church, wherever, right? And so that's really it. Just being the best that I can be. And then more formally, I'm active in my alumni association.
Okay.
I am I participate in college fairs. So any opportunity I get to talk.
Oh no. It said you muted yourself. 1 second. Wait, really quick. Can you hear me? I don't know why. It muted. Mm-mm. Okay, 1 second. Get back in. I'm gonna hang up. Get back in. I don't know why I'm doing that. Boom. Okay, cool. I don't know why I was doing that. It did that to
No,
somebody else
so
here.
yeah. Oh, okay, I was gonna say because somebody called me and I
Oh,
didn't
that
have
could
listed.
that could be what it was.
Okay.
But that's okay. So you were saying to show up. That is the best advertisement for any school that you go to. You say you were involved in your alumni chapter.
Yes, yes, yeah. So, I am basically like a Spelman recruiter. So, any college fairs in the area, I, jump at the opportunity to talk to young girls about, what Spelman did for me. Because again, right, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And all I can do is share my experience. And, if that resonates with someone, then that's great.
Yes, for sure. And I was talking to somebody else. I was like, I feel like, the rivalries we have as HBCUs, where we're like, oh, my school's the best, your school's the best, all this other kind of stuff. I feel like that simmers down the older you get, where it's like, listen, any HBCU, just pick one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot out there. Just there will be one that will suit your fancy. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Kristen, the last question to wrap it up. Um, What do you think about the education of an HBCU versus a PWI?
Yeah. I mean, you can receive a stellar education anywhere you go, but only in an HBCU are you certain that for the 4 years you're there or however long it takes you, right? No shade.
I
That
mean,
for the
listen,
time,
as long as you
right?
finish.
As long as you finish, right? That for the time that you are there, 100% that every single one of those individuals are invested in your success. And
Yes.
that is not something that can be said at a PWI. Sure, there are teachers that will be there to support you, but the HBCUs were started to educate Black students. And so anyone that works there, that is their goal. And so you never have to question that. You never have to question your place,
Yes.
their motives. And then on top of that, not only do they want you to succeed, they are teaching through the lens of the contribution of peoples from the African diaspora. Again, you're not going to get that across the board,
Yes.
education at a PWI. You're not, it's just not going to happen. Sure, you can take, African American studies at some of these schools, but again, at HBCUs, the curriculum is rooted in that because, again, they are trying to instill that sense of confidence in you. And
Yeah.
what better way to do that than to tell you the way in which people that look like you have contributed to the success of the world, really. So yeah, that's, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's
And
not
I'll
about
never
it.
forget when I took my African diaspora class, I was like, ooh, this is a lot. But just as you said, you're learning about your rich history and not just the American history, but your cultural,
Exactly.
your history like way back when. So, Kristen,
Yeah.
I want to say thank you. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your advocacy to this, right? So, guys, you just heard from Kristen who went to Spelman College, okay? An all girls institution that really instilled that confidence in her. So, stay tuned for the HBCU wrap up. You never know who else we may have on here. I'm Lady T. Thank you for watching.